Hello, I'm Anthony, and I'm doing the ITA takeover for Monterrey, Mexico. Feel free to follow along and ask any questions you might have along the way. All right, so I'm Anthony, and I am from the US, originally from Chicago area, but grew up near St. Louis. I have been teaching English for about a little over 4 years now. And yeah, I've been here in Mexico for almost 4 years as well. I lived in Puerto Vallarta for 2 years, Guadalajara for over a year, and now I'm in Monterrey. And yeah, so this is kind of a day in the life of an online English teacher in Monterrey. All right, so I want to show you a little bit of my morning. I typically work about 25 hours a week or so, maybe a little more depending. I work for italki, and I generally start at a different time every day, but today I'm starting at about 8 a.m. So yeah, here is what my workspace looks like. Hey everybody. I just want to kind of show you a little bit of the neighborhood that I live in. Cool thing about my neighborhood is that it's pretty central, and it's close to the centro, and it's close to kind of the more chic upper scale neighborhoods, because Monterrey is quite a wealthy city with a lot of industry. So next I want to talk a little bit about the price breakdown, kind of what rents are looking like here, like monthly expenses that you can expect to encounter when living in a city like Monterrey. All right, so in terms of rent and the expenses, I will go ahead and drop a story of my monthly expenses so you guys can get an idea, like what you would need to live a decent lifestyle as an online teacher in Monterrey. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about teaching English online. I work for a platform called italki, and it's a great platform because it's really flexible. It allows you to set your own prices, and you can work with adults or children or a little bit of both. I do a bit of both. And yeah, it's excellent because I get time to travel. I also get the time to enjoy this awesome city. All right, so Monterrey is a great place if you love mountains. It's known as the City of Mountains, and there's also a lot of recreational parks, places to go and chill, hike, get good exercise. And right now we just arrived here to a park called El Capitan. It's super beautiful, and I'll give you guys a little tour. So I want to talk a little bit about the visa process. There's a couple ways you can go about it. Most people can get the 6-month tourist visa. If you plan on kind of staying a short term, teaching online, yeah, you can probably jump the border and renew it for another 6 months, but there's been some problems recently with that, people not getting the full 6 months. So yeah, here are some other options for residency. So some residency options are temporary and permanent residency. Temporary residency is a little bit easier to obtain than permanent because it requires less money per month. Generally, you need between 1,500 and 2,000 USD per month coming in order to qualify for the temporary residency by financial sovereignty. Or you can find a job at a school here. Some offer online options as well. And you can get the company to sponsor your visa, which they don't check your income requirements. Permanent residency is a little more difficult because it requires a larger sum of money each month, or a good sum of money in your bank account already. These requirements you can check out on the Mexican consulate website. So I chose Mexico because it was a really great affordable option. I did my TEFL course in Puerto Vallarta, and I really fell in love with the culture. I fell in love with the people. So yeah, it was a great option, and I am still here 4 years later. Yeah, so health coverage insurance, this is an awesome question. Generally, basic healthcare is super affordable here. So going to the clinic, going to see like a specialist, stuff like that for a checkup, generally pretty cheap out of pocket. You can go to the pharmacy clinic for basic stuff and spend, like $5, 100 pesos or less for the visit. Specialists generally cost between 500 and 1,000 for a consultation, which is about $25 to $50. That's all without insurance. If you have your residency, you can purchase IMSS, which is like the National Healthcare Service here, and it's generally pretty cheap. I want to say it's probably about $500 a year or so, and it's a pretty decent service. It's not great. Private health insurance is always better, but I don't know too much. So yeah, this is another really great question. So with the media in the U.S., we really definitely have a lot of propaganda about Mexico, unfortunately. But in Monterrey, it's a really safe city. It's one of the safest big cities in Mexico, I would say. Of course, there's problems here, just like there is in the U.S., just like there is in any other part of the world. We're about, 2-hour drive from the border. The Nuevo León part of the border is generally pretty good. You have more issues when you go to the state next door, Tamaulipas, and there, sometimes the safety is questionable by the border there. But overall, I've been here 4 years, I've never felt unsafe once, and I've been all over the country. Yeah, this is another awesome question. So yeah, I'm able to make a little bit to say for sure. Mexico, generally, when you're working in a school, like ITA says, it's kind of a break-even country. But when you're working online, you're making US dollars. The dollar goes a bit farther here for sure. It all depends how many hours you work, and for example, on italki, what you set your price to per hour. So I've been doing it a while, so my price is pretty high. So I'm able to, save some money for sure. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in today and following along with the day in the life of an online English teacher here in Monterrey, Mexico. If you have any more questions, I'll go ahead and leave my personal Instagram here so you can follow me and ask any questions you might have. And yeah, happy teaching.